Hey guys, this is Sarah from Sarah Series, and I know it's been a while, but been doing stuff in my own spare time lately. Um, I'm glad to see you guys again, and I know that my fan base has dropped a bit because my videos have been uploading on time, but I promise you guys, I will upload as much as I can. As you all know, I have been doing a lot thinking lately about some videos that I'll do in the later times. I've been trying to get new video editors, which I'm still complicating about. But yeah, I'll try to upload as much as I can nowadays. I have all the time in the world to myself right now, so I'll probably do some when I'm at my dad's house. But then again, you guys probably don't know this, but I'm in college, so I have all the time in the world. All you new goers and new people who love my videos, you will like these as well. And right now, I just want you all to know that I'm here for you. And I want you all to know that I take my channel very seriously and that I will not just only be doing theory videos. I wanted to update you all what I'll be doing in the future. I'll do some vlogs maybe, and maybe some other videos of conspiracy theories. Like I have one for Shaggy and Scooby-Doo. Maybe work with other YouTubers someday. Maybe I'll move to LA and work with a few other YouTubers who know what they're doing most of the time. And yeah, I'll do many other things in the near future, so you guys will just have to wait and see. I will try to upload as much videos as I can, but I hope my fan base grows, because I know people don't usually like theory videos, conspiracy theories and all that, and that I'm not really as famous as any other YouTuber, and that as I start out, my videos are nothing compared to anything that, sure, I just use pictures, but my videos are not as cool as other people's videos, but I try my best, and I won't show my face until I'm good enough for professional health-wise. And yeah, guys, but I'm glad you all watch my videos and you love my my theories about basically movies, films, books about movies, or movies about books. And yeah, but I will do a lot more videos, guys, I promise. I just have been trying to get some time to myself and all that stuff. So yeah. I will try to upload some more videos. But now let's get to the video that I've been wanting to talk about forever. As you all know, you probably all don't know this, but I love Ghost Adventures. And yes, the Ghost Adventures crew is actually doing a investigation of the Titanic Museum. And since they're in tribute to that episode, which is coming on this Saturday, I hope you all watch it on the Travel Channel, all you Ghost Adventures fans out there. Titanic, this one is a big one, apparently. And I know I've been trying to get some comments from you guys about which videos you want me to do, what kind of theories you want me to talk about, what kind of conspiracy theories, and other videos you want to talk to me about. Just leave them down in the comment section what kind of videos you want. But yeah, Titanic has always been my childhood memory. It was actually the first rated R movie I can think of that I started watching. And you're probably thinking that's terrible to watch when you're a 5-year-old, but I loved it. It was my favorite film, and I love watching Titanic. I grew up watching this film, and I never will stop watching it. I don't care how old I get, I will keep on watching it. It's an amazing film to watch. But besides that, let's talk about the things that most of you probably who watched Titanic, older, younger, whether you watched it when it was reopened in theaters or you watched it in 1997. I don't know, you guys. But if you did watch it, you probably have more questions on your mind than anybody. Questions like, why did Jack have to die in the film? Could the Titanic have completely avoided the suffering of the incident that, well, the ship sank? Do you think that something was on board that made the ship sink in the first place? Well, I'm going to tell you all the theories I have for the ship itself in real life, in the movies, and how some of the calamities could have been avoided. So let's get to talking about the first object on hand, Rose. Now, you're all thinking, yes, probably Rose went on an adventure after Jack died. She was taking his name and literally felt like she was married to him. And really what happened is that she went off and did these amazing things. From what you can see at the end of the film, when she's like dying, she went on these incredible adventures. Even without Jack, she still would live the life that he wanted her to live, and to be free and to do whatever she wanted to do. And there's even a picture, if you stop one of the clips, you all would know that, you all probably know that, in one photograph, Rose is sitting, it has her foot on a plane. Now you're probably wondering, did she fly next to Amelia Earhart? Well, since Amelia Earhart was in the 30s and Rose would have been around almost 20-something, maybe 30-something, you could say that she lived her life pretty well in the 30s. She may have actually flown with the other women pilots, and with Amelia Earhart. So yeah, guys, that answers your first question about the Titanic. But the big question is the other two questions. How, and why did the Titanic sink? Was it intentional? Because there have been other like fan fiction TV shows and movies about how Titanic sank. Now, these pictures I chose specifically because they were on the cover of the movie that I bought for Titanic a long time ago. I don't know where the box is, but I do know that that was the original poster. So, really, Titanic was done very well by James Cameron. Now, as for the Titanic sinking, well, there are many speculations that maybe Titanic went down on purpose, or that the iceberg incident was no accident, that somebody wanted to sink the ship. Maybe it was the captain, maybe it was the crew, one of the crew members. You never know. From what we can see in the Titanic that James Cameron had made, the two men were paying attention to Jack and Rose, and it was their fault that the ship sank in the first place. Or they could have been the problem of no binoculars in the crow's nest. But there are some speculations even from forensic people, forensic analysis people, who understand that maybe, just maybe, the Titanic went down because of the lack of seeing in the dark. The winds were calm and the iceberg just floated right in front of them. I was thinking they should have just gone more to the left. They should have turned faster to the left and not, like, but then again, it could have been the crow's nest fault. Now, why did it sink? Probably because either somebody intended it. There have been many films about ships disasters, like the Titanic TV movie in 1996 that came out 1 year before the Titanic movie. And Titanic is the sister to the late Titanic, and what happened was Nobody knew who blew up the Titanic, but the Titanic, everyone knew what happened to the Titanic. It sank beneath the sea, and everyone witnessed it. But nobody knows who blew up the Titanic. And what really happened is that in the TV movie, we see that this man blew up. He was a German spy, and he blew up the Titanic on accident, and then the next one on purpose, and that he did this on purpose. And well, that was basically what happened. But nobody knows in history who did it or what happened. Did they get hit by a torpedo? You guys could say it was a mine that killed the people in the Titanic. But I don't think it was a mine. A mine would have blown you up faster and faster. And technically, a mine would destroy a ship faster before anyone can get to the lifeboats. Now, a torpedo, yes, that would have blown up, but nobody knows for sure. But let's talk about the Titanic in general. Now, everybody knows what happened to it. It was all over the newspapers in 1912. But really, you could say that nobody really liked the fact that the Titanic sank. And true, guys, I, for one, was not happy at all that Titanic sank like this. But it's a risk that most people are not willing to take. Now, as for the ship itself, I would say it was bigger than even any ship ever created. True, yes, it is the largest ship in the world. Just like the Hindenburg, that was bigger than the Titanic even. But which one would you guys go on, the Hindenburg or the Titanic? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, and tell me which vessel you would have gone on. The infamous ship that sank beneath the sea in 1912, or the Hindenburg, which was burning alive, and you could jump, yes, but you had to make a very hard, narrow escape. But besides the Hindenburg, I'll do a video about that later on. The Titanic, why it sank is a mystery. Because people would say that you didn't turn to the left hard enough in the film, or you shouldn't have been paying attention to Jack and Rose making out. Instead, you should be paying attention to the ocean. They even say in the film, have you seen the binoculars for the lookout? They said they'll look for a tomorrow, but there wouldn't even be a tomorrow for any of them because they all could not get off the freaking ship. So, really, you could say that Titanic has a lot going for it. And sure, yes, it did sink beneath the sea. But that's just something that happened, and that's something we cannot control. Sure, there could have been somebody on the ship who could have caused an explosion or wanted the ship to sink. There are speculations that maybe somebody who built the ship, who was on the Titanic at the time, wanted to sink the ship so that they could have an infamous way to be remembered. So, yeah, you could say whatever you want. Now, how it sank is the real question. Technically, an iceberg scrape, you could make it to port really fast. The Titanic was only 5.5 miles away from New York City port. True, yes, they could have sent out an SOS, and they could have survived longer than possible. Now, what really could have been done for basically an iceberg scrape is that you keep the water out of the lower levels. Sure, it would have filled the cargo hold in any minute. And if you had strong watertight doors, yes, that would hold it out too. But I wouldn't hold out for anything like that. So when the Titanic was hit, basically the entirety of the hull was not strong enough to basically hold the water out and stop the scraping. Yes.
You still on the phone?
No, Mom.
What's the matter?
Nothing.
There is something the matter. What's the matter?
Nothing, Mom. Just watching the Titanic.
Okay. Um, one of the things I can get you for Christmas.
Sorry, guys. Anyway, what was saying? When the ship basically was hit, the Titanic could not withstand the pieces of the berg. Now, true ice cannot break through solid metal, but only if it's like sharp enough that it rubs against the metal hard enough. True metal now is better and more hardened than it was back in 1912, but it's still the same. But like I said, guys, the Titanic sank for multiple reasons, and people did not understand why. Anyway, let's talk about Jack and Rose. Now, I know most of you have watched the Titanic film, the new, when it came back out in theaters also. But most of all, Jack and Rose's love story. Now, people would say it's like Romeo and Juliet, but in different times, different places. True, Romeo and Juliet was a true love story. But most of all, Jack and Rose's love story was just like Romeo and Juliet's. Forbidden love in a place, and they're being torn apart by people who don't think that they belong together, or that they do belong together. Some of them actually were nicer to them, like Thomas Andrews, the captain, and most of the first class passengers who actually wanted Jack and Rose to be together. Only Rose's mother and her so harmful and mean and cruel fiance didn't want her to do anything with Jack that would change her from being this porcelain doll that they could just move around, toss around, and control to start doing her own thing, to start like having like all these little affairs and all that stuff and doing things her way. Of course, I only have one problem. Why does Rose's mother, what's wrong with just being a seamstress? Rose's mother tries to tell her that she cannot be with Jack because she'll be poor, she'll have nothing, her mother will have nothing. But her mother she doesn't know it. Rose doesn't really know it, but her mother tricks her, and yet why would she love Jack only for 5 minutes, realizes she's in love with him, sleep with him, and then next thing you know, she automatically doesn't believe him when she finds the heart of the ocean in his pocket from a jacket which he did took, of course. Now that you cannot. And besides, Jack actually says that Rose knows him and that she knows that he would never do this. But yet, what can you say? except how much that Rose actually did not believe him at all until finally she realizes that Jack was set up and that she needed to that she needed help and that she needed to help him a lot. And yeah, guys, I will admit Jack and Rose's story was pretty darn good. I mean, when James Cameron actually had to portray a real life Romeo and Juliet on a real vessel that really did sink a long time ago, he nailed it. Besides his Avatar movies, I would have to say that I loved everything about Titanic. Now, there are many scenes from the film, including the infamous kissing scene, from which every parody basically sometimes copies off of, where I'm Flying Jack, that scene, and mostly, you could say that scene's been done a million times, and by other movies / parodies, and even the hugging scene, and sometimes even the flashback scenes. But there are many scenes copied off of James Cameron's Titanic. But there's also one scene in particular, besides the infamous I'm Flying scene, which has been done by Hollywood in so many parodies, so many times, you cannot ever judge this scene. Sure, yes, when you aren't flying. True, it was in front of this picture was in front of a green screen, obviously. But they made the ship look so real, so realistic. And that's what I loved about the entirety of the movie. It was ahead of its time. James Cameron put this movie ahead of the 20th century and even put it in the 21st century. He made the outfits, the graphics, the songs, even the lyrics and the words and stuff like that. He made it all sound so amazing. But besides the infamous I'm Flying scene from the part where Jack and Rose share their first kiss, there's actually one other scene from the film. And I'm not trying to say that this scene in particular was not everyone's favorite scene, because it technically was not mine. I nearly cried the first time I watched this scene. And true, I can't go get the clip for the movie, for the scene, because I would start tearing up, guys. So I'm just going to show you. Now, I know you're all probably saying, oh, the kiss scene on top of the front of the ship, like everybody's not going to watch that. Sure, you could say that the balcony scene where Jack is telling Rose that she will not jump off the ship, that scene could be your favorite. Sure, the infamous I'm Flying scene could be your favorite. Even Jack, this is where we first met, that scene could be your favorite. Or it could be the scene or it could be the ending scene at the end of the film, where Jack and Rose meet up again, and everyone who died on the Titanic that night, Rose's spirit goes to join them, and her and Jack are back and reunited better than ever, and they live happily ever after in a heaven-like state. But sure, that would have been my favorite scene, guys, besides the obvious scenes that would be everyone's favorite. This one could be some of your guys' favorite. I'm not going to judge, but this scene actually did get to me. The infamous Never Let Go scene. Now, I know Hollywood has definitely portrayed this in other films, like that Asylum film Titanic 2, and also there have been some memes of it, but everyone has actually portrayed the Never Let Go scene a lot. And true, this scene actually could have gone a different way indeed. You know why? Because technically, if you go back a ways before the ship is finally sank and Rose and Jack are stuck in the water, she's stuck on a raft, a piece of debris, and Jack is in the water freezing their buns off. I don't know why they didn't get bit by sharks. All those people in the water, you think that sharks would just came up and bit them already. Technically, if you go ways back to when Rose is on a lifeboat, if Rose had stayed on the lifeboat, Jack could have found a way to get off the ship, float on that debris, survive long enough to, like, technically, if he was not in the water, he would not have frozen completely. He would have had at least a little bit of strength left to climb out the water. The guy next to them would have frozen, and he could have blown the whistle. He could have rejoined. He could have been found by the guys who were searching for people who were alive, and Jack did not have to die. He could have survived, lived. Then he would have gone to find Rose, and when he found Rose, they could be reunited, married, happy, and travel the world and do whatever they want. So, yeah, guys, Jack did not have to really die. And this has already been confirmed by how it should have ended. They made a whole how it should end video on how Titanic should have ended. How Titanic should have ended, how it could have ended. You can think of it any other way, but that's their channel. And true, yes, Jack said the whole thing I just said in the how it should have ended video. But this scene has actually been parodies and memes and on Vine videos made by people, and sure, it's been made fun of, but Jack dying is the biggest thing in the Titanic film. Like, all that they spent the entirety of the film talking about Jack and Rose's life on the Titanic, and how she met Jack and left her fiance and her mother, and how she went to go save the man she loved. She finally found real love, and she finally found someone who actually cared about her and actually was kind to her and showed her new things and made her feel safe. But unfortunately, she lost the man she loved. And the worst part is, guys, we see that when Rose is literally she promised Jack before he died that she would get out of here and go on. So when since Jack's frozen solid, he literally is holding onto her hand. After Rose lets go of his hand, he sinks to the bottom of the ocean before she literally gets off the raft and blows the whistle constantly. Everyone around her is basically dead and gone and frozen. She was the only one not frozen alive. Technically, a few minutes in that water, yes, you would have frozen to death. And in the Titanic film, when James Cameron made this film, he did film this in a few bits of cold water, and it would have been freezing. But thankfully, even some scenes can be taken a little bit too far when you're acting, when you're pretending to, like, drown. Basically, if you've ever seen the scene where basically Rose and Jack are trapped beneath this gate and the water was rising, technically the two actors could have died then and there. But thankfully James Cameron was smart enough to stop the water before causing any damage. And yes, they do have some behind the scenes of the movie and how they made it. People on set behind some of the scenes were behind green screen, some of them were just on a fake replica of the ship that was made out of, like, paper and stuff like that. But yeah, you can watch the whole behind the scenes if you guys want to. And yeah, guys, truly Jack did not have to die. But the question really is, whatever happened to Jack? Yes, he did die, but he went to the bottom of the ocean. Where did he go? Was he eaten alive by sharks? Is he at the bottom of the sea? Technically, if you go to the bottom of the Atlantic, it's nothing but ice down there. Everything underneath the ice is frozen. When you touch the solid floor, you will freeze underneath it. So is Jack's body preserved underneath all that ice at the bottom where the wreckage is? Well, we'll probably never know, because James Cameron doesn't probably intend on making a Titanic 2. After all, Rose did just die, and we do see that Jack is already dead. Basically, if you keep watching when Rose is dying and she literally dies in her bed, we go straight back to the wreckage of the Titanic and it's all brand new again. That's basically Rose's spirit left her body and went to the Titanic wreckage. She knew that she was going to die at an old age, and when she heard about the piece of paper, she knew it was an opportunity to tell her story to her granddaughter and to the crew of the Titanic. And when she did, she was close to the Titanic, and she wanted to be close to the man, close to what was left of the precious ship that she met her true love on. And what happened then was that Rose ended up dying, and she basically went to go join the rest of the people who died. If you watch very carefully, guys, during the ending scene and the song, basically close to the next song, the ending theme, you can call it, all those people that are around Jack, that are surrounding the staircase, all in the main ballroom, where Jack and Rose basically had not first encountered, but had first been in first class together. And all those people around them are the people who died that night on the ship sink. Notice that Calvin Hockling is not there, and that Rose's mom is not there either, because they did not die on the Titanic. All the spirits of the dead who died on that ship are all the ones who are there for Jack and Rose in the end, who are there for Rose, for she's the last Titanic survivor. The reason that they're all there gathered around and smiling and not saying anything to Rose, but just happy that she's there, is because she's the last Titanic survivor to come and join them, and that she's connected to the Titanic because she knows Jack is there, still there, waiting for Rose. And apparently I think they've been waiting for her for a very long time. And as you can see, Trudy, the band, Tommy, Fabrizio, and the girl that he fell in love with, even Thomas Andrews, John Jacob Astor, they're all there because they all died on the ship. Everyone, and even the random people we see on the deck, they all died on the ship. Almost 1,000 people were in that room. 1,400 souls, you can say, had died. But you can say that it was almost 1,200 souls. 1,200 people died in the Titanic that night, but 1,400 people actually did die. Of all the Titanic survivors, which was almost like 400 people, which was almost 200 people in all the boats, that was basically all the people who died, including some children and even the little girl who was getting on the ship with her father. She died as well on the ship. So you could say yes, they were all waiting for Rose. And before Rose even got to Titanic, before she even died, we see that she lived her life happy the way that Jack would have wanted her to have, the life that she and Jack would have had together. So yeah, guys, you can say that basically Rose lived the life that she knew Jack wanted her to live. And really, if Jack had really survived, Rose would have had a perfect life. We could have had a happy ending. But I guess James Cameron was going for the sad view, and we already know that Jack is not coming back. And if he did, well, that would have been really sad for Rose. If you all see, if you all see at the end of the film, notice that all the dead spirits are there. And that even Jack is there as soon as he turns around. Rose is right there, and he extends his hand, something like every hero does in films. Thank you very much, Doctor Who. What happens is that basically we see that Jack extends his hand and Rose is right there. You know why, guys? Because Rose is dead, and she's come back to join the man she loves. So that means that Jack and Rose are rejoined together in a heavenly-like state of the Titanic, and are there to live together for the rest of their lives. And most of all, that shows that Jack is dead and he's not coming back. People have been talking about a Titanic 2 where Jack is alive and he comes back and he realizes that Rose is long gone. People have been talking about a film just like that. And there have been fan made films from that show that Jack comes back to life. And I actually watched one, Jack is Back, Titanic 2 Jack is Back, that fan made trailer. And it was basically just a compilation of every film Leonardo DiCaprio has ever been in. So, yeah, technically I actually thought it was real at first, to the surface and all that stuff. That sure would make a good film, and Titanic, and I actually watched another trailer called Titanic 2 If Jack Had Lived. Basically tells what would have happened if Jack had lived. And I highly doubt that would have happened between Jack and Rose. That they would actually argue and live in the suburbs. They talked about traveling the world and seeing new things. So, why? True, yes, they took all those scenes that If Jack Had Lived from Revolutionary Road, where Kate and Leonardo DiCaprio starred in another film together. But, truly, guys, but yeah, true. The only reason that it actually compensated with the Titanic film, and the only reason that that person who made that trailer would have actually compensated that movie with the Titanic film was because of this scene showing that they were in Paris together, and then Rose remembered that it was the only place that they were willing to go back to. The only place was worth living that Jack had said was worth living, and that was Paris. And that's what basically why that trailer would have been so perfect for it. So, yeah, guys, you can say that that would have been a really good film as well if Jack had lived. But unfortunately, guys, there will be no Titanic 2, as far as I know. James Cameron is too focused on making probably the second Avatar film, which will come out in 2018, I think. So yeah, that's basically all today about talking about the Titanic film. Yes, Titanic is the best film of the year. I will admit, guys. I do love the fact that Titanic has so many amazing qualities. And not just that, guys. It also brings us joy, showing that we can all have our own happy ending. Now, guys, I know you're probably thinking why Titanic sank, and you all can think whatever you want about Titanic. How good it is, how bad it was, how amazing it could be. There have also been other films like the Lusitania film, the Titanic film. There have been even TV show, movie of Titanic and how these different people, different lives, and how they lived, how they controlled, all that stuff. You all can go watch those videos whenever you want. But really, I want to say that I love everything about Titanic. And if you all want to watch the movie Titanic, you can still buy it in stores or buy it online, whatever you want, guys. Also, whatever kind of movie you guys want me to do, just tell me in the comment section below. I will be doing more of these videos. Maybe I'll do some videos about the books I've been reading. Maybe I'll do a Ghostbusters one someday. But for now, you guys, I'm gonna go. I'll upload maybe a video tomorrow or the next day. But for now, I'm just gonna go. It's late. And I hope I'll see you all later. And remember, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my theory videos, or even maybe more of other conspiracy theories. I'm Sarah from Sarah's Theories, and I'll see you all later, guys. So remember, subscribe and like my videos.